Riley, grab that trash.
Real quick, ladies. I know you guys are actually putting the flowers. Obviously, we know what they're there for. Can somebody real quick just tell me what you're thinking and what you're feeling right now?
It's sympathy for the families. Been there. I've lost a loved one unexpectedly, and it's harder than when you know it's coming. Sympathy for the victims, because it was a scary situation, I'm sure. I can't imagine. I'm sure the parents that were on board were doing everything they could to save their kids, throwing themselves under, you know. I just can't imagine losing a child.
What's your name real quick, your first and last name if you would?
Jasmine Burkhart.
Can you spell it for me if you would?
JASMINEBURKHARDT.
My name is Denise Foster, and I visit Branson every year. We vacation here every year with my family or my in-laws. I felt like I had to come here today and just kind of pay my respects for the families that parked their car and they never got to come back to it. I come here as a parent. You know, you get in these adventures for your children to enjoy it, tell them everything's going to be fine, and then it isn't. So it struck me as a parent, mainly for those children who have no idea what's going on, and we as parents do our best to protect them. And of course, there's other things that affect what happens. So I'm just here to put flowers on the cars for the family members who come back and unfortunately pick up those empty cars, to know that people here love them because they're people, they're human beings, and we're just here to support them as a community.
Spell your first and your last name for me just so I don't get it wrong.
Dennisse. Last name Foster, Foster.
Okay, sir, what is your first name and your last name, and spell them for me if you would?
Sure. My first name is Scott, S-C-O-T-T. My last name is Sturmer, S-T-O-E-R-M-E-R. I'm a captain with the United States Coast Guard stationed in St. Louis.
Captain, first and foremost, I guess the question is, have they pulled the boat out yet that we know of?
Well, first, if I can, let me offer the Coast Guard's and my personal sincerest condolences to everyone involved, friends, family, and certainly the victims for this tragic incident. And really thank the community, the State Highway Patrol, the local fire department, county sheriff, and in fact folks from the Branson Bell for their heroic efforts in terms of this recovery and the earlier search and rescue effort. At present, the boat is still on the bottom in approximately 80 feet of water near the Branson Bell's moorings.
When do we expect that boat will be excavated, pulled out, and brought up?
We'll be working, we the Coast Guard will be working with the National Transportation Safety Board as well as the Missouri Highway Patrol in the conduct of the investigation, and the removal and salvage of that boat will be one of the very earliest things that we have to address with regards to that investigation. So in the coming days we'll be working through that plan and salvaging the vessel.
Safe to say 2 or 3 days probably?
It's a little early to tell. We are waiting for NTSB's arrival here on scene, and then we'll be able to put that plan in place.
Captain, I guess the next thing is regarding the investigation, and I want to be very careful here as we talked, but weather played a huge role in this. We all, I think, can come to that conclusion. Can you elaborate on the exacts regarding the weather and the boat? We all saw the video. We know, the intricacies of the waves, blah, blah, blah. Can you elaborate in detail as to what brought this boat down?
Well, the details that really caused the marine casualty and the sinking of Stretch Duck 7 are really at the core of the investigation, and we don't have any of those details yet. It's too early for us to even hypothesize about that. I certainly have seen some of the videos that have been posted to the internet and to social media sites with regards to the conditions and highlighting the weather conditions. And a discussion of those conditions and an evaluation of those conditions will be part and parcel of the investigation that we conduct with the National Transportation Safety Board.
Is it safe to say that weather certainly played a part in this very tragic accident?
Again, the goal of the investigation is to determine what the root cause and what the causes of a casualty were. In this case, weather will certainly be one of the things that's discussed, and could very well be one of the things that's part of the equation with regard to this particular casualty.
Latest confirmation, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, but it was 17 fatal. Can you give the correct numbers exact if you know them by chance?
The numbers have been confirmed. There were 31 total persons on board the Duck. 17 were deceased as a cause or as part of this incident, and there are 14 survivors from the incident.
How many are still in the hospital? Do we know that? Injuries, things of that nature. Can you elaborate on that?
I really don't have an update with regards to that. I know that there were some injuries sustained. Many people were taken to the hospital, but the current status I'd have to defer to the Highway Patrol.
How in the heck did you guys, did people get them out of the water? That's probably everyone's question. Folks from the Branson Bell, other people, how did they get folks out of the water?
Well, there were many calls that went out as the incident happened for assistance. The county sheriff was one of the first folks on scene. A county deputy sheriff was one of the first persons on scene, as well as many folks from the Branson Bell's crew, and they really put forth a heroic effort, reaching into the water, trying to throw flotation devices and ring buoys to victims and to the scene, and really just the physical exertion of pulling and removing people from the water.
Were there flotation devices on the boat, on the Duck?
Again, that will be part of the investigation. Part of the requirement for passenger vessels like the Stretch Duck 7 to operate are that they have personal flotation devices on board for every passenger.
Captain, very tragic incident here, no question about it. Most particularly, any loss of life is certainly tragic, but this really, as a father, this touched me as well. Because there were some children on board. Do you have a count of the children that were on board, or do you know how many children might have been on board?
I do know that there were children on board. I don't have the exact number, and would again have to defer to the lead agency for the search and the recovery effort, which has been the Highway Patrol.
So basically we've got in short order, and this is really a tough way to explain it, but we have a duck that goes down with people on board, capsizes, and we have fatal drownings, some of which are children, but ultimately we have people that rescue them and pull them out of the water.
Yes,
Stone County Sheriff deputies to regular normal Joe Blow folks.
Absolutely.
Pulling people out of the water. Is that would that be a safe statement? And if so, can you elaborate and on that and even use that verbiage, so to speak?
Well, we are just certainly thankful for the community effort, both from law enforcement and traditional first response agencies and organizations, as well as just crew members and other persons, civilians and other good Samaritans that were involved in the heroic search effort and search and rescue effort over the course of the evening and into the very early hours of the morning. It is truly not an understatement to say that their effort was heroic. We thank them, we applaud their effort, and we're just so appreciative that they were there at that time to render the aid that they were able to.
When is the NTSB going to be on scene? I think you might have said that earlier, but one more time, just want to validate when they will arrive on scene to assist you guys and everybody get together and assist each other. So to speak.
And I'm expecting the NTSB to be on scene sometime today, and their team is coming in from some different locations around the country, and so we'll be amassing that team and putting it all together over the course of the day.
So we've got obviously the Missouri State Highway Patrol, the county, the state, you guys, the Coast Guard, and the NTSB, all these interagencies working together to try to find the root cause, and obviously in that you're going to be pulling up the boat and then make a determination. I'm assuming that will take some time to make.
It will. The investigation will take some time. These are very challenging and complex casualty investigations. Lots of questions to be answered. There are lots of witnesses as well, and folks that will need to be talked to make sure that we can piece together the situation in the very best way.
Anything else you can think to add that I might have forgotten to ask, or that you might want to add, so to speak?
Again, just Coast Guard's thoughts, prayers, and condolences certainly go out to those that are involved in this tragedy. And we just really appreciate the effort that has been put forward by the state, by the city, and by the county and all those others involved in this response. Thank you.
Thank you, Captain.